Hey guys, it's Scott Weddle here with another session for you today, and I'm really excited for today's topic. So, as always, my intention is to help you and inspire you to make more money so you can actually reinvest to buying your time back and not get stuck in the employee trap and be able to live the life that you actually really want to live. Now, what I'm saying today comes with credibility because I'm running a 8-figure online business and I'm doing pretty well. And I'm excited to be sharing today's topic. So today's topic is talking about the journey to the first million. And I'm going to share some perspectives, some lessons, some mistakes that I made in the start, and really talk about how simple it is to actually kind of make your first million, like get your business to making $1 million, which is obviously phase one. We'll talk about that very soon. So I think the first thing I want to address here is a massive lesson that I learned, and one of the biggest mistakes I see a lot of people making. Ambitious people that are wanting to go and make loads of money and have freedom and jump into the entrepreneurial world, and they're just sick and tired of the old world and they want to jump into a new digital world and start earning a lot of money. Is what happens is their intention to go and make the $1 million is coming from the wrong place. And what I mean by that is they believe that life will be better when they get there. Some sort of part of them is anchored in a wound. Maybe it's the wound of not being good enough, or the wound of not being worthy, or the wound of not feeling safe, or whatever it is. Usually it's the not good enough one, and they have to go and prove themselves to the world, and they have to be seen as this amazing thing to feel good enough. Look at what I have achieved, right? And you see this riddled through people's languages, on their podcasts, on their videos, and people that are really successful still, that have got a lot of money, they're doing a lot of things, very smart people. You can sense that they're still anchored in this wounded identity of not being good enough, and they need to show this thing to the world to feel good enough. And what we call this is an identity crisis, right? Because what's going to happen is you're going to run away from your wound and move towards making $1 million or whatever, how much money you want to make. And there is metaphorically an anchor in the past, okay? And you're running away, and there's an anchor, like literally, like getting ready to pull you, like an elastic band stretching with a lot of tension, right? So you're anchored into that wound. So when you get so close to the $1 million, your identity is going to have a crisis, because your identity is anchored in not being good enough. And you believe that when you get the $1 million, you will be good enough. So your identity will find a way to sabotage you. Have you ever experienced that before, when you get so close to a goal, or you had something in your life and then all of a sudden a reversal pattern happened and you lost it, or you sabotaged it, or you emotionally reacted and screwed it up, or something happened, right? I bet you're saying yes. Now, that's an identity crisis, right? So my first big mistake was being anchored, like the identity crisis. And I'm just going to be honest and transparent and open and vulnerable, is actually because of this identity crisis back in 2016, and back in the UK, I actually had to declare bankruptcy because I was stuck in this identity crisis. And I found a way to make good money and start making good money and start living the life that I wanted to live, traveling the world, living life. And then I found a way to revert myself back to my old life. And back to nothing, and having to rebuild the whole thing again. Now, lucky, I met a mentor at that time, who's now my business partner, by the way, Chris Duncan. He's wrote an amazing book called You're Not Broken. You should go and search that on Amazon, by the way, and it talks a lot about this. He'll do a really good job at explaining a lot about this. You should go and buy it right now. You're Not Broken. Go and buy it. It'll change your life. Anyway, I literally met a mentor, and he made me aware of this kind of stuff, and I humbled myself and decided to not have to go and show all this stuff to the world, right? And just do it because I absolutely love doing it, and it's what I'm destined to do, and it's who I am. And it's about it all. You can take the same action, but be coming from a completely different place. So that was the first big insight that I want to share with you guys. So hopefully you got a lot out of that. Now, what I would love to invite you to do is, if you have a goal like this or a target like this, or this is kind of what you want to do, is just really check in with yourself and notice where are you coming from. And really ask yourself the question, and don't think from your head. Listen internally and hear what your unconscious mind and your body is telling you. It's different than thinking to yourself and being logical and in your head. More asking a question and quietening your mind and listening to your body. And just tune in. Where are you coming from? Then also just check in with yourself and actually ask, is this a true goal? Is this actually a true thing that I want to go for? Do I really care about this? Is this what my heart wants? Or am I just trying to look good to the world, right? Really check in with yourself. Now, look, if you get to the point where you realize that this is your path, and this is all, you're all in, and it's what your heart wants and stuff like that, then what you want to be doing is you want to be living from the end result in the way that your heart sees it, in the way that you're at its highest potential, right? The way your soul sees it, your heart sees it. And what you need to do is you need to keep tuning in every single morning and building a visualization of what that looks like, and build a relationship with that person in the future version of you, internally, and actually notice how that person is behaving. Notice how that person is holding themselves. And kind of ask and notice how this person is allowing $1 million into their life. Like, who do you need to step into and become? Because that's what it's all about. It's all about stepping into the person and becoming that person that already has the result now. And then coming back to now, noticing your circumstances and not taking it personal. And then starting to act in alignment with the future version of you. That's what it's all about, right? So that would be my number one focus on how you kind of like escape this kind of wounded identity stuff, if this is true for you, and really get focused on your end result, building a relationship with that end result and yourself in the future, and then actually stepping into that person now and acting in alignment with it. Well, whilst also telling yourself the truth about what's going on now, and not lying to the world and lying to yourself and being delusional, because that's just not good. That's just going to end in horror for you and people involved around you, and I don't want that for you. So yeah, don't do that. So moving on, there is different phases to like the journey to the first million, right? So the first phase is to just get your business to make the million. And this is the funny part, where people, their business makes $1 million, and then they start talking about them being a millionaire, and it's just not true. Their business has made $1 million, and that's a great achievement. But if you find yourself doing that, again, you're anchored in some sort of wound, man. It's just you're living from your wound, your wounded identity, and you're having to show to the world that you're good enough, right? So literally, man, like, just be honest with yourself. If your business has made $1 million, it doesn't mean that you're a millionaire, because like you need to have $1 million in the bank, or $1 million of assets that have actually been paid for, not $1 million in property that you've only got 200 grand of equity in, right? So you got to be real honest with yourself. And the first phase is to get your business to make $1 million. And that's a great achievement. It's fucking awesome, man. It's absolutely fucking awesome to have achieved that. You don't need to show anything else to the world but that, right? So that's the first phase. And I'm going to talk about the steps to get there in a second. Then the second phase is you actually become a millionaire, right? Which is actually that you have the $1 million in the bank or more, or you have the properties that have paid, that you've actually put $1 million into, or whatever. You've got $1 million in stock, or an index fund, or you've got $1 million of Bitcoin, or whatever, and you can actually liquidate that today if you needed to, and it would be in your bank account. You get it? Okay. So for a lot of you people watching this, you need to make your first $1 million. So here's what I would do. You need to find a market that you can serve. And I'm going to call this one person. So you need to understand this person very deeply, and understand where they're at now, what's going on for them, and where they want to go, right? So you need to really build a relationship with someone that you want to serve. and you need to find your market that you're going to go after and serve. That is absolutely foundational, but a lot of people don't spend enough time, effort, energy, or focus actually unpacking this and doing the work around it to actually see what they could offer this person, right? Because then the second step is one product. So one person, then one product. Your product needs to be the bridge for this person to take them from point A to point B, right? So what's the product that you can sell to that person? And just one product is kind of all you need to get to $1 million. Then from there, if you've got that, then we need one promotion channel. That could be YouTube. That could be Google ads, YouTube ads. It could be Facebook and Instagram. It could be TikTok. It could be LinkedIn. It could be whatever. What promotion channel do you want to attract your avatar and drive them through to your offer, right? And that is it. So many people at the start, they're trying to do way too many things rather than just focusing on the 1 to 3 things that's going to move the absolute needle and getting them to the result that they actually want. And they're away busy dabbling in all these things because they're actually anchored in a wounded identity, and all they're actually doing is trying to show the world that they're good enough. It's a tough pill to swallow, but it's true, okay? So once you have got your business moving and you've made some money and you've got some surplus money, you're starting to pay yourself a wage, okay? Because again, that's a very big achievement for a business owner, is actually paying themselves a wage, believe it or not. Most businesses don't. Pay yourself a wage. Start paying yourself dividends. So you could actually show someone, hey, I'm actually paying myself wages into my personal bank account. And I'm also taking dividends as well. So that's called you getting surplus money out of the business. There's profits there for you to share and distribute, right? So then from there, you can take your distributions, right? And then you can decide to take that money and put it somewhere and let it grow. So there's 2 real places that I would say you can put it. And the first one is into yourself. Skill stacking, going out and getting more skills so you can increase the value in your business. So you could learn more skill sets. You could learn how to do speaking if you want to do that. You could learn how to do copywriting, learn how to be a marketer, learn how to sell, learn how to develop products, leadership skills, blah, 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 right? Loads of skills you can learn to increase the value in your business. So that's why I just literally put all my money into myself to start with. And then from there, the second thing is just choosing something to hedge against inflation. So I don't know, index funds. This is not financial advice, by the way. This is just me providing educational content. So you could do an index fund, Bitcoin, right? You could do stocks, real estate, whatever, right? But the point is, you take surplus money and you put it into something that can grow. The first place you put it is yourself. Second place you put it is somewhere that can grow it into compounding interest for you in the future. Now, lastly, and where I'm going to leave this today, if you are going to make your first million, you need to look at your money and numbers every single day. Now, you'll be amazed at how many business owners don't even know their numbers. They don't even look at their numbers. And then when you ask them, they're like, I don't know. And it's like, well, how can you expect to improve if you're not measuring? Because you can't improve what you don't measure. And it's kind of like going to the gym and seeing a personal trainer and not measuring your weight, not measuring your circumference of your waist and stuff like that. So you can actually like really start tracking this your body changing. So guys, the last piece of advice is, right now, even when your numbers aren't where you want them to be, confront them, look at them, obsess over them. One of the greatest gifts I gave myself when I experienced that big loss back in 2016 and having to declare bankruptcy was looking at my numbers when I didn't want to look at them, when they were so confronting. When every time I looked at them, I felt like bloody crying because it was horrible, right? Every time I looked at them, I felt like I was a failure because it brought up these emotions and it made me realize that None of it was true. None of it was true. I wasn't actually like a failure. I just experienced a failure. And if you speak to most successful people, they'll talk about multiple failures on their way to success. So the key thing that confronting my numbers allowed me to learn was that I just don't have to identify with that. I get to look at my circumstances and see it for what it is and see the truth and take that as feedback. And then based off that feedback, make adjustments and change my behavior and start moving towards the type of person I want to become, which is why you need to build a relationship with yourself in the future, that future version of you, because that future version of you is maybe holding themselves differently, maybe behaving differently, maybe has different beliefs, maybe has a different energy, maybe is more certain, maybe is blah, blah. I don't know what it is for you. But with that said, guys, it's a journey. So get really anchored in your end result. Build a relationship with it. Come back to now. Notice your circumstances. Don't take them personal. Take them as feedback. Take them as lessons. Take them as wisdom. Okay? Tell yourself the absolute truth about what's going on right now. And then act in alignment with that future version of you. And just enjoy the journey of growth. And be in a learning orientation and be really curious about like life. Okay? With that said, my friend, I wish you all the best. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next session. Bye for now.